Thank you very much, and welcome everyone. We are about to begin this afternoon's session, which is the opening ceremony for Accessible Americas 5, being held here in Montego Bay, Jamaica. Minister Reid, good morning. Permanent Secretary, good morning. Good afternoon, Mr. Stanu. Good afternoon, Mr. Ramos. Good afternoon. Yes. Welcome, important delegates, distinguished guests. Welcome all. Service providers, welcome all. As we begin today's ceremony, given the late start, I will go introduce my Permanent Secretary, Ms. Joaquin Murray, who will invite Ms. Joaquin Murray to do the opening remarks.
Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Senator, the Honorable Ruel Reid, Director of the International Telecommunication Union's Telecommunication Development Bureau, Mr. Brahima Sanu, ITU Regional Director, Office of the Americas Region, Mr. Bruno Ramos, partners and sponsors, members of the media, participants, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. In a community in the Dominican Republic, an augmentative alternative communication language application helps speech and language therapists understand and work with clients who have speech impediments. In Mexico, parents of children with autism utilize their tablets to enable their children to communicate, practice eye contact, and learn new vocabulary. Voice control apps, which most of us have on our devices, help the visually impaired convert text to sound or vice versa. It is also a great tool for people with learning disabilities, such as dyslexia, who are now able to express their ideas on paper and successfully complete their academic or professional assignments. Ladies and gentlemen, these are just a few examples of how information and communications technologies can and are improving the lives of persons with special needs and/or disabilities and society's most vulnerable. Over the course of this conference, we will explore, share, and set a framework to continue the efforts that ensure we create a digitally inclusive society where everyone has an equal opportunity and access to the right ICTs. We are very pleased to be hosting this, the 5th staging of the Accessible Americas Conference on our shores. Platforms such as these help governments, industry players, and stakeholders examine the real issues and make the right provisions to empower all. The government of Jamaica, through the Ministry of Science and Technology, has positioned ICT as the access from which all development is driven. Through the work of our agencies, like the Universal Service Fund, approximately $100 million has been invested in equipment and projects geared at empowering the special needs community. In fact, since the USF's inception in 2005, it has invested approximately $11 billion in improving the country's ICT infrastructure with a view to bridging the technology gap that is the digital divide. Another of our agencies, the eLearning Jamaica Company Limited, empowers educators and students through its high school and tablets in schools projects by providing a solid platform where learning can be facilitated in an exciting, dynamic, and engaging way. Additionally, we are revising our legislation to create a robust, responsive, and comprehensive framework for the legal, regulatory, institutional, and administrative environment for the ICT sector. Access to ICTs make for an inclusive education system, robust healthcare sector, a diverse workforce, and limitless social and economic development. Our National Development Plan, Vision 2030, is geared at ensuring this, and we are committed to this cause. Ladies and gentlemen, your presence here today is an indication of your awareness that access to ICT is access to information, knowledge, capacity building, and an improved life. Your presence also indicates your commitment to continue to take in the necessary steps to ensure that our women, girls, youth, elderly, members of the indigenous groups, disabled and differently abled persons have the ability to reach their fullest potential with ICT. The opportunity is taken to thank our partners, the Universal Service Fund, the Office of Utilities Regulation, and our sponsors, the Spectrum Management Authority, eLearning Jamaica Company Limited, the Jamaica Tourist Board, among others, who have collaborated to stage this event. I extend a warm Jamaican welcome to the staff of the ITU and all who have been and will participate in this conference. With some 146 registrants, and I think we're up to 200 now, representing 23 countries, I'm confident we will have a meaningful discourse. This conference provides an inclusive platform that fosters discussions, decisions, and the sharing of ideas on how to move the ICT agenda to make ICT accessible for all. I therefore encourage you to be active participants over the next 2.5 days. Share your views, provide insight, and be part of the exciting, thought-provoking program that has been planned. In this technologically driven world, tapping into and fulfilling one's highest potential will be heavily determined and dependent on our access to the products and services that are digitally powered. Let's make this happen, and let's have a great conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Permanent Secretary Murray. I now we'll now have a video presentation which will provide you an insight as to the work of the International Telecommunications Union as it relates to ICTs for the Sustainable Development Goals.
Around the world, information and communication technologies, or ICTs, are empowering millions of people and helping to secure a brighter future for all. ITU's Telecommunication Development Sector, or ITUD, is working with global and regional partners to fundamentally improve people's lives through ICTs. This vital work is essential to achieving the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Here is a glimpse of some life-changing projects around the world. Schools are like trees with many branches. The Connect to School, Connect to Community project in Comoros has improved internet access to students as well as their communities. Teachers are trained in ICTs and in turn teach others how to use computers and the internet, spreading their knowledge far and wide.
Nous ramasse connecté dans le monde. Connecter, c'est déterminer le monde, c'est améliorer les connaissances et créer des emplois.
No one need be left behind in the digital age, which is why ITU has helped to create a center in Kyrgyzstan, where children with special needs learn to use ICTs. This enhances their confidence and knowledge and greatly improves their future job prospects.
В этом центре я научился пользоваться в трех программах. Это Working, Excel и Parent.
Small and medium-sized enterprises drive prosperity around the world. By supporting and promoting innovation and entrepreneurship with a focus on young people, ITU is working hand in hand with local organizations and startups to help transform Albania into a knowledge-based economy.
There are a lot of initiatives for young people with bringing new ideas into the market. And what we have tried to link the traditional businesses with the new innovative ideas in order to create a link and to be intermediate among these two worlds.
ITU's support of rural internet centres makes working and living in an isolated village in Thailand easier. The centres strengthen people's technological skills and help small businesses in remote communities promote themselves and create new commercial opportunities.
คอมพิวเตอร์กับอินเทอร์เน็ตเนี่ยนะฮะมีความสัมพันธ์ก็คือในเรื่องการเรียนรู้การสืบค้นความรู้ถ้านักเรียนมีวิธีการเรียนรู้สืบค้นได้ถูกต้องสืบค้นได้ดีก็จะช่วยชาวบ้านช่วยพ่อแม่ผู้ปกครองในการค้าขายในวันหน้าได้
Paraguay's commitment to e-education has helped to establish, with ITU's support, telecentres in a number of schools across the country. These 21st century technology hubs allow students to connect to the web and all things digital.
Cuando vimos por primera vez el telecentro nos emocionamos mucho. Es divertido tener esto y para hacer nuestro proyecto y todo eso. Como salud, para buscar el cuerpo humano o las enfermedades que te puede agarrar y cómo prevenir eso.
Supporting both digital and physical health, ITU has helped to provide internet access to schools and hospitals in Rwanda. This has enabled communities to find information faster and conduct business much more dynamically.
Yadufashije kubera ko hano nta modemu n'imwe ifata yaba Tigo yaba MTN cyangwa Airtel. Ni ukuvuga ngo twakeneraga gutanga raporo tukideplasa tukajya gushaka ahandi hantu dukorera.
As ICTs continue to enable and support economic and social development, ITU's telecommunication development sector is committed to strengthening its essential role in the global effort to create a sustainable and inclusive information society for today and for the future, for all.
Thank you very much. Again, I want to apologize for the late start. Just a tidbit here for you, many of you. So would have had that introduction about the International Telecommunications Union, but many of you may not have known that the study which led to the establishment of the e-learning Jamaica project was actually initiated in conjunction with the International Telecommunications Union, I think way back in 2002 or thereabouts. And that's what established that the basis of that study we used to establish the e-learning project. More importantly, that project was among the first such projects to be done by the ITU anywhere else in the world. So Jamaica and that study was among the global leaders as it relates to establishing e-learning projects within schools. Having said that, it is my pleasure to welcome Mr. Brahina Sahu, Director of Telecommunications Development Bureau at the International Telecommunications Union.
Minister of Education, Youth and Information of Jamaica, Senator the Honorable Ruel Reid, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Science and Technology, Mrs. Joaquin Murray, Director, ICT Division, Ministry of Science and Technology, Mrs. Cecile McCain, IT Regional Director for the Americas, Mr. Bruno Ramos, representatives of governments, private sector, academia, and civil society here present, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a great pleasure for me to welcome you to the 5th edition of the Accessible Americas Information and Communication for All, a regional event of the International Telecommunication Union aimed at promoting discussion and the exchange of experiences and good practices on digital inclusion policies, strategies, projects, and initiatives. I would like to express my deepest gratitude, indeed, our deepest gratitude, to the Ministry of Science and Technology of Jamaica, the government and the people of Jamaica for hosting this important event in the beautiful city of Montego Bay, and for having created all conditions allowing us to meet today. Ladies and gentlemen, digital inclusion is one of the pillars of the work of the International Telecommunication Union and the telecommunication development sector in particular. This was again reconfirmed by the World Telecommunication Development Conference held in Buenos Aires in October 2017, and the just ended ITU Plenipotentiary Conference. As you know, it is estimated that some form of disability affects more than 1 billion people in the world, which is 15% of the world population. We must, I say we must work for ICTs to become a solution for them. The population of the world over 60 years is expected to reach 1.4 billion by 2030. Again, we should work for ICT to help them to live as healthy, as independently as possible. These are just two examples to show you the magnitude of the digital inclusion, because behind those figures, we are talking about people you know, your friends, your colleagues, your family, your neighbors. These are the people who are behind those figures. So we are here today because we share a passion. Am I right? Yes, we share a passion. We all agree that we should not continue to give more to those who have when neglecting those who need ICT to live a dignified life. Thank you. Thank you. Above all, we are here today because we are all convinced that ICT can create value to our society. I insist on that. ICT can create value to our society because we are also convinced that ICT can create a better life for a farmer isolated in the village. ICT can create a fairer world for women and young people. ICT can create an inclusive world for people with disabilities and people with specific needs. ICT can create a bright world for the private sector, and above all, ICT can create a more peaceful and sustainable world for humanity. This passion will definitely drive our discussion during these 3 days on how to get people and community connected and be empowered by ICTs. I insist on that, be empowered by ICTs. It's about empowering people. I commend the work of my colleagues in the Americas region under the leadership of Mr. Bruno Ramos, Regional Director, for organizing Accessible America for the first year in a row, and I expect that to continue. And this meeting really gives us the opportunity to get together on the multi-stakeholder setting and to work together to put a human face to the ICTs. We must put a human face to the ICTs. It should not be left to engineers like myself talking about megabyte, gigabyte, software, hardware, Twitter. No, we should work to put a human face to the ICTs. Ladies and gentlemen, we have achieved a lot during the past years in increasing awareness and sharing good practices in ICT accessibility and digital inclusion in general. Thanks to all of you. And congratulations to you. You did it. Congratulations to you. Senator, the Honorable Riel Reid, your presence here today is a testimony of the importance of digital inclusion for you personally, Senator, for the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information you lead, and for the government of Jamaica. Thank you for honoring us with your presence to this opening ceremony, and thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply convinced, and I say I am I don't know how to say it, very, very, very deeply convinced that ICT can definitely create value to our communities and our society. Let us work together with passion. Let us work together with passion to put a human face to the ICTs. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sanyo. This is not in the program, and I know he is not really expecting it, but I'm going to invite Mr. Bruno Ramos to say just a short few words of welcome to the, just a short few words.
Hello, good afternoon. It's a huge pleasure to be here with you today. I didn't plan to say this, thank you for Cecil. But it's important to say to you that it's, as Brahima said, this is something made with passion. It's the 5th event. It started very small in 2014, just to, try to do something practical, to provide some best practices that the governments and also the private sector could use objective to inclusion persons with disabilities. It started in 2014. Thinking on the Paralympics in 2016. But after that, the event created a lot of energy, and we started just to include in the event more and more topics. So we are right now here, and the event is something to you to act as a platform, to you to interact, and to you to share the best practices to share what the world is doing in order to include people. This is our most important objective. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ramos. I should have indicated that he is the director of the Americas region, for which Jamaica falls under at the ITU, and it was under his leadership that Accessible Americas began. You know, many of you who were at the training this morning would have heard me say that this conference is about mainstreaming accessibility, ensuring that all persons, irrespective of your abilities, is able to use ICTs to achieve their goals, to achieve their dreams. And so we have in this room academics, innovators, private sector, public sector, all stakeholders. And I'll just say that everyone in every country is a stakeholder in this, in ensuring that all peoples are not left behind in this digital age. This digital age can be used to ensure that our futures are brighter, our futures are safe. And so therefore I invite everyone to, as you leave this conference, to be an evangelist as it relates to digital inclusion and ensuring that all peoples of this globe are able to achieve their goals. My task at this point is to introduce our keynote speaker. Senator, Minister of Education and Youth, Senator, the Royal Reid. Senator Reid has had a distinguished career in teaching, which began in 1996 when he joined the academic staff at his alma mater, Monroe College. He was one of the first master teachers to be appointed back in 2003. Senator Reid was appointed as principal of Jamaica College in 2006 to 2016 and has transformed this institution as one of the top performing high schools in Jamaica. He has served as chairman and member of several boards in the public and private sectors in Jamaica, including the Heart Trust, NTA, as well as he served with distinction as president of the Jamaica Teachers Association, the most powerful teachers union in the Caribbean. Senator Reid was conferred with the Order of Distinction, Commander Class, in 2011, one of the top awards here in Jamaica. He was appointed as Senator and Minister of Education, Youth and Information in March 2016. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Senator, the Honorable Royal Reid, Minister of Education, Youth and Information.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Cecil McCain. And let me also recognize our acting permanent secretary in the Ministry of Science and Technology, Ms. Joaquin Murray, Director of International Telecommunication Union, Telecommunication Development Bureau, Mr. Brahima Sanu, ITU Regional Director, Office of the Americas Region, Mr. Bruno Ramos, Chairman of the Board of Management of the USF, Mr. Robert Lawrence, partners and sponsors, members of the media, delegates, participants, ladies and gentlemen, pleasant good afternoon. I see that on your program, you were scheduled to commence at 2:30 p.m. So I see I'm right on time. I know you really wanted to hear from our Prime Minister, but as you would know by now, that he is very busy on his 11-day trip He was in Washington last night. I think he'll be heading to Argentina and then in Trinidad and Tobago before he gets back to Jamaica next Wednesday. So on his behalf, on behalf of the government of Jamaica, may I welcome especially our international delegates and participants. Welcome to the beautiful country of Jamaica. Welcome to Montego Bay, the very friendly city of Montego Bay. Come, put your hands together and welcome our visitors to the friendly city of Montego Bay, Jamaica. I also want you to soak up as much of Jamaica's world-famous hospitality during the next 48 hours. And those of you who are from the north, having looked at some of the weather forecasts, I'm sure some of you may not necessarily want to go back, so you can do an extended stay or you can come back for Christmas. But please make sure you let down your hair, unwind, and enjoy beautiful Jamaica. I want you and all those you tell about Jamaica, you're talking about your great experiences in Jamaica, to make Jamaica their home away from home. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here primarily because we seek to raise awareness amongst our governments and industry players on the measures necessary to promote digital inclusion and enable persons with disabilities, as well as the most vulnerable in society, to have equal opportunities and better access to ICTs. And it's very fortuitous that I am actually coming from the official opening of the Savlamar Inclusive Academy, where it was exactly what we're seeking to do. How do we create inclusivity? How we create institutions where our students with all diversities of special needs are enabled. And certainly one of the things I did mention, and as Minister of Education, I'm very cognizant that how do you always customize education, meaning that each student before a teacher is an individual that needs to be diagnosed, understand their needs, understand their learning styles. They have different learning styles, they have different interests. And the one equalizing factor that can solve that, because that's why I believe so much in technology, you can find an app, you can find a solution to every problem. And that is why ICT is so powerful. So I'm very happy to be here to endorse the efficacy and how valuable ICT is in leveling the playing field. As we say for Youth Month, level up the opportunities for our people. Information is a premium currency, and ICTs are a key enabler of economic and social development. ICTs have a pivotal role in the global efforts to bridge the digital divide and in fostering an inclusive digital economy. Yet, ladies and gentlemen, there are some glaring gaps. I know there would have been improvement, but there are still some gaps in ICT access globally. Our own research of the ITU research findings related to 2017 show that in 104 countries, more than 80% of the youth population are online. In developed countries, 94% of young people aged 15 to 24 use the internet, compared with 67% in developing countries and only 30% in less developing countries. Out of the 830 million young people who are online, 320 million, or 39%, are in China and India. These findings should concern all of us. What must also concern us is that nearly 9 out of 10 young individuals not using the internet live in Africa or Asia and the Pacific. ITU research pertinent to 2017 show that in developed countries, the proportion of households with internet access at home is twice as high as that of developing countries. Only 15% of households in less developed countries have internet access at home. In these countries, many internet users are accessing the internet from work, schools and universities, or from other shared public connections outside the home. And I'll speak a little bit more about Jamaica's own experience. And as minister, I'm cognizant, how do I bridge this particular divide? Internet is at work, at school, but our students do not have that at home. So, ladies and gentlemen, these imbalances perpetuate the widening of the gaps between the ICT rich and the ICT poor, and by extension, the gaps between those countries whose people have reliable and convenient access to a critical conduit of the 21st century development, ICTs. And let us never forget, we're now in the midst of the fourth industrial revolution, and ICT definitely is an imperative. Uppermost in our consciousness must be gender gaps also in the use of ICTs. Again, our own research of ITU related to 2017 shows that the proportion of men using internet is higher than the proportion of women using internet in 2/3 of countries worldwide. There's a strong link between gender parity in the enrollment ratio in tertiary education and gender parity in internet use. The only region where a higher percentage of women than men are using the internet is in the Americas, where countries are also scoring highly on gender parity in tertiary education. We therefore need to stem these tides of exclusion if we are to remain committed to connecting our world. We have to redouble, therefore, our efforts to ensure that we lobby all interests to understand that a new frontier of growing inequality in ICTs is antithetical to human development. So I'm humbly beseeching you, delegates and members and leaders of this ITU movement, that unequal access to ICTs, Madam Permanent Secretary, is a very urgent human development matter. Without convenient and reliable access to ICTs, the human ability to participate in critical democratic processes are essentially stymied. In recent times, we in Jamaica have passed legislation to ensure ICTs are more reliable and conveniently available to our population. No doubt, Madam Permanent Secretary, we look forward to further discussion about the Digital Switchover, Single ICT Regulation, Data Protection Act, issues relating to cybersecurity, and of course, importantly, our own issue of our identity protection. More than 1 million Jamaicans are online. The total number of mobile subscribers, and for those of you who are not Jamaicans, we have about 2.8 million Jamaicans. And so we're not, well, I would say we're not doing too badly at all. So that's 1 million out of 2.8. So just about over a third of the population. The total number, however, of mobile subscribers grew by 3.9% in 2015. And here are this interesting statistics. So in Jamaica, we have 2.8 million thereabout, but we have, in terms of mobile subscription, 3.3 million subscription. So it means that myself, and I have a third one at home. Our government will continue to roll out our free secured Wi-Fi hotspot, Madam Permanent Secretary. Yes? In popular public places across the island, our government will continue to expand its encouragement of ICT use in all our schools. And I'm very passionate about that. And I want to recognize the universal access fund in this regard, and Universal Service Fund, and of course, e-learning Jamaica. And we do have some strong relationship. Because recently, with the implementation of the National Standards Curriculum, and more so some of the concerns relating to PEP, and it's quite an interesting lesson, because the National Standards Curriculum was articulated to be on top of an ICT ecosystem. So the whole idea was to deliver content electronically through digital devices, USB drives, on all the other devices, such as whether online, because there were websites that we had also available, CDs, DVDs, all those kind of devices. That is how it was predicated. But yes, there were some gaps. Some persons felt that because they didn't have internet connectivity in their school, quite interesting, some of them didn't have it at home, but that precluded them from access. And I pointed out it does require some creativity. It means if you go to where they had the facility, you download and you take it to your destination. And so we had to therefore go and print all of these materials to solve some of those problems. In addition to the discussion we have had with the e-learning Jamaica, where you can actually have information uploaded on tablets. So even if you don't have internet connectivity there, I'm saying in the meantime, there's still a way you can use ICT to solve a problem by already uploading the information on devices. Have servers that have the data that can be used in a very creative way. So yes, Jamaica needs a little more universal coverage in terms of internet, but that still doesn't preclude the use of ICT. We can go back to the very much often used, because offline access also is very much possible. So we use things such as the regular PowerPoint. So if you can use a laptop and PowerPoint. So these are sort of things that we're also saying to our practitioners, even though we don't have the ideal situation, but we can use that. But certainly, ICT is very powerful, as I said, because as an educator, we talk about differentiated instruction. I spoke about that earlier. And so we're trying to get all primary schools, all high schools already have computer labs and access to the internet generally. Not all our primary schools, not all our early child institutions, so we now have a task to make sure that's universally accessible. We're moving to online learning, flipping the classroom. So again, both teachers and students now have to begin to recognize that ICT is now going to be a modality of the delivery of content, the engagement in the teaching and learning process, that their lessons are going to be all taught before uploaded on electronic devices. They will have to access them as part of the teaching and learning experience. Testing, such as CXC, Caribbean Examination, CSEC, CAPE, all exams are likely to be all online in the next couple of years, so students can stay home and do their exams. We're already talking about education where we call the school management system, pretty much what most corporate organizations already have your information communication management system. Everything that you do are done electronically. So in schools now, we need to get there, so we have online real-time data. We know exactly where your child is every time of the day in school. That is possible as well. You can give a report to the parent hour by hour, day by day. That's all ICT. Teachers' work can become easier. Teachers' burden with writing lesson plans can use an ICT app to solve all of that problem. So we want to do that very quickly. My ministry, permanent secretary, I have said to them, we need to get to become an exemplar of ICT. I want customer service to be driven by ICT, that teachers can stay wherever they are and access the services of the ministry can apply for their leave and get all the other responses they need just by clicking the button. So our government offices need to be fully ICT enabled. Our public transportation, public and private spheres. Our government remains therefore committed to removing all barriers to ICT use. Our government will continue to enable persons with disabilities, as well as the most vulnerable in our society, to have equal opportunities and better access to ICT. So, ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to the results of your further deliberations. I want to congratulate the Ministry of Science and Technology for being found worthy to host this 5th conference, and put your hands together and congratulate the ministry. I want to thank all of you, therefore, for taking time out to be at this conference, the Accessible America's 5th conference. I hope you'll all have a very successful conference. I look forward to the results of your deliberations and your recommendation that we can adapt to make sure that we certainly bridge the gap in terms of the digital divide, that we empower all our countries and all our peoples with information communication technology, so we all will enjoy the blessedness of prosperity for all human beings in our world. Thank you very much, and all the very best.
Thank you very much, Minister Reid. Now, my final task is to, of course, close this opening session. But just to give you a few tidbits of what you're going to be expecting throughout the weekend. One of the things that myself and those who will be leading the, not the moderators, but I've asked throughout the conference certain persons to be MCs to guide the overall run of the program. They're going to be sharing with you Accessible Americas by the numbers. So the first 2 numbers I'm going to be giving you, you'd have probably heard from my permanent secretary, is the number of persons that are here, the amount of countries that are here. So we have over 23 countries currently represented here at the conference, and well over 210 persons registered as well for the conference. Of course, this conference would not have been without our various partners who are here with us for the entire week. And I take this time to thank all those persons who are participated so far and are going to be making this conference the success that we all expect it to be. First, I wish to again thank Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Senator, the Honorable Royal Reid. Thank you very much for your presentation and your insights. We certainly will be taking away from this and ensuring that we share with your ministry the outcomes of this conference. We certainly will be doing that. Of course, my permanent secretary, without all of this, this would not be possible. She ensured that we have engaged all the partners that we have at the table and ensuring this conference a success, and we thank her very much for all the efforts in empowering us to ensure that this conference is a success. My friend, Brahima, I share with many of you, shortly after the announcement was made that Jamaica will be hosting the next conference, I was at an international conference and I saw Brahima and I said to Brahima, Jamaica is going to be hosting this conference and you need to be there. Without skipping a beat, he says, I am going to be there. Brahima, thank you for being here with us to share with us this conference. Thank you very much. Mr. Ramos, your team, you have a fantastic team that you're working with. Anna I'm just going to introduce you to some of the faces that you're not going to be seeing, but they are the persons behind the scene. Anna Veneroso, she's with the ITU Era office. Caroline Brando. Caroline, she's and of course, Mr. Rama, the man behind the scenes, ensuring that everything goes according to plan. Thank you very much for all the support, all the encouragement in ensuring that Jamaica hosts this conference. Of course, there are certain partners that are here at the table with us. And for that, we are very grateful. The Universal Service Fund. I invite the chairman of the Universal Fund to stand up, please, Mr. Robert Lawrence. Thank you very much for all the support. They have been with us from day one. Without their support, it would not have happened. Thank you very much. To our various technology partners, some obvious, some not so obvious. Phase 3, the Jamaica Information Service. The Hyatt actually is a part of our technology partner. They actually help to provide some of the platforms that we have here. Appearon, thank you very much for being here. You'll be seeing them throughout the conference. We will have a special presentation at the very end of the conference, which is going to be produced by Appearon. Of course, this conference, as you know, is live streamed. It's available at the website of the Jamaica Information Service. If you click on that website, there's a link to take you to a live stream of this conference. So as I speak, you can actually go there and you'll see me speak. In addition to that, the conference has live caption in both English and in Spanish. You'll see the captioning screens along the side. We also have simultaneous interpretation services here at the back of the booths. We have both into English and Spanish, as well as sign language interpretation, as we ensure that this conference is accessible to all. Guests. Well, of course, there are members of the media here as well. We thank them for being here. Of course, all of the guests that are here, we thank you for turning out to this conference. We hope that you'll take this experience, that you would learn whatever you learn here, whatever the experience you gain here, whatever the experience you share here, and take it to the wider public. Share what you have learned with others. Be ambassadors, be evangelists for digital inclusion. We thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here today. After the guests exit the stage, we will prepare for the next session, which will be the high-level panel on sustainable development. The remainder of the afternoon is going to be the MC for the afternoon will be Mr. Unserved Hewitt, who will also be the moderator for that session. And of course, as you would know, Mr. Hewitt is the Director General of the Office of Utilities Regulation. Again, we thank you all and invite you to give a warm thank you again for all who have participated and ensure the success of this conference. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. As the high-level delegation leave, we invite Mr. Hewitt to come forward.